Alright, YouTube, welcome back to another video. Second episode of the series. Roll the intro real quick. Let's get this started. Okay. Okay, guys, so let's really think about what we should do here. So I think low-key we're building a house today. Okay. So I think what I need to do is I need to get a bed and some wood. But we'll get started on a real good house today. I don't know if we'll finish it today in this video, but I think I'm gonna spend some time building this house. Because I want something fresh. I want something nice, you know what I'm saying? Oh, this water's nice, but I don't know. I don't want to do a water build. Lucky, not fun. Should also get stone, because I'd like to maybe do wood and stone. Guys, I really don't have anything envisioned right now, but we'll try something. We'll just I'll just think about it while I'm making this. And then while I build it, and then if I could think of something, I'll build it. And if I can, you guys might be able to see the vision while I'm building it. I doubt it, because I don't even know. I don't even think I'll know what I'm building. Looking pretty hard to try to know. But I'm gonna cut this. Let's jump to when I have about like 3 to 4 stacks of wood. All right. All right. I'll be back in a little bit. I'm not getting the 4 stacks, the 3. I think I'm gonna stay with these 2 stacks I got, guys, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't want my axe to break, because then I can't fight mobs. And I'd like to focus on getting more iron later, and mainly focus on today just building the house. So I think I'm not gonna too much try to get I'm not gonna really focus on getting iron or anything, so I'm not even gonna go try to get iron. I'm mainly just focus on the build today. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't really take up of anything because I'm like, I don't know why, guys, but I had my finals today. I talked about it in the last episode, but I had my finals today, specifically my pre-calc finals, and like I just didn't study, which was stupid of me, but like I was struggling, bro. My brain just wasn't on. Don't even think I got a good grade on it, which sucks because I need a 90 in that class. Because my last math class, I ended up only getting an 85. It was mainly because the teacher sucked. This time, I might end up not getting a 90 just because I suck, which would be very unreasonable because I am really good at math. I just I don't know why I just didn't study or anything, and I didn't even like try to recap, or I didn't even do any of this stuff beforehand to try to remember. So then I just completely forgot. May have been the problem. It was real stupid of me because I spent the majority of last night just making the editing the video, making this and the last video. Maybe shouldn't have been what I should have. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. But I just didn't want to study, you know. I was procrastinating and I was feeling lazy. I just didn't do it. Just don't listen to me. Do your work, study, bro. Definitely the most important thing to do. Don't listen to those influencer gurus who LARP as rich to become rich. Those guys, they don't know what they're talking about. Don't listen to them. Usually, I don't like that guy. Those guys. You know, I used to be a fan of Andrew Tate actually, but his thing was like it was so stupid to me now. Now that I look back on it, like I think some stuff he said in a way that I think he might have been right in a sense, but I think he was also just kind of a bad guy in a sense because a lot of the things he said was just not like it was just not cool things to say. And I guess I didn't really think back much on it, and I was pretty young, so I still am pretty young, but I think I was just being stupid. And that's kind of makes me think of like, man, when I look back in the future on me right now, almost like I think I was pretty stupid, I'd be like, man, I was really stupid. Maybe I shouldn't have done this or that. And like and that's I guess what life is about, man. It's about growing. It's about being changing and becoming a better person. And in this case, that's what I'm doing, but I just oh shoot, my pickaxe is about to break. Wait, let me stop real quick. About growing and becoming a better person. I guess that's just not something you really realize a lot of the time, which does suck in the end. Because like it's a major thing you gotta like understand that people will be and like that's something I've thought about is how people when you change, some people see change as a bad thing, and it's actually the more common thing to do and is see change as a bad thing, but realistically change is good because it's growth. It can be regression, but it's pretty uncommon to regress. So it really makes you think like it makes you think like oh, change is good, but a lot of the time I don't think people believe it's good, especially with this one thing that I had with a friend, and Loki kind of a sad story because I didn't think this would happen at all. I don't think this. I would never imagine somebody would say this to me, but used to have a friend. I was like, I think I was maybe 8 or 9. Probably like one of my best friends. He was a year older than me. Great people. He was fun. He was fun to talk to. He was funny as hell. He had a brother. And he was funny as hell. And we would play Fortnite. We would play stuff together on Xbox, right? I never got to but then one day I lost my like login into my Xbox account or something like that. I don't even remember. It's been so long. But I just remember like after years of talking to him, I was like, man, let's just try this again. Let's just see if I can get the Xbox to work. I don't have that in Xbox anymore, by the way. Fun fact, got it robbed. It was stolen while I was on vacation, but back to the actual story. I was uh I was basically just chilling. I was like chilling, and then I was like, I think I saw something, and I was like, man, I want to play on the Xbox, man. I want to talk to them. I want to see how they've been, bro. So I decided, why not try to hop on into the server, and see if I can log into my account, sorry, and see if I can play something with them and see if maybe my computer might work. And what happened was I was able to get it working. Sorry, I'm just counting that. I ended up getting it working, but I think what really sucked was that and the thing is when I did get it working, wait, sorry, I didn't finish the story. I don't know why I said the thing that sucks. Once I got it working, I was like, man, I'll wait till to see if they're on. But before I kept looking to see if they were on, but they weren't on at the time, so I was just like playing something. I decided to like play some Fortnite, check out my skins and stuff, because it's been a while. It had been a while since I played on my console, and because I had gotten like wasn't necessarily a PC, but it was a computer, and sorry, and I had gotten it, and it basically made me just not want to play anymore on the Xbox, and that's why mainly I stopped playing, and I didn't ever try to play again on that account because I had gotten the computer. So I was like, man, I don't want to play this no more, bro. And so that's exactly what I did. I just never played on it again until that one day where I was like, man, I want to play something again, see how those guys are doing. And while I was playing on the Fortnite account and I was just chilling, sorry, just checking, just counting. While I was playing, uh, one of them hopped on, and I was like, "This is my opportunity." So I messaged them to see if they would hop on, and luckily they remembered and they decided, "Okay, we'll hop on." I got that chance to play with them again. But but I think maybe that wasn't exactly the smartest thing to do because at the time I was just like, man, I want to talk to these guys. It's been forever. But I don't know if it was exactly a good idea to do it because it had been forever since I talked to these guys. So I didn't know how they'd be as well. But when I hopped on call with them, I think what was racing through my mind was, man, I could play with these guys, man. I was blinded by nostalgia in a sense because I was like, oh man, let's go. I get to play with these guys and I get to have some of those experiences I had before. And that was really all that was running through my mind. So I was just like super happy. And they, for some reason, I don't even think Apex was like popular. I think like a lot of people didn't like Apex. This was years ago, so I don't remember why some of this stuff. But I hopped on with them, and while I was on call, and like after we played some games, I was like, and I kind of showed, and they were like. I think they realized they didn't really want to play with me anymore because they were like, I was low key bad and they were pretty good and I don't think they wanted to like keep playing with somebody bad. But while I was talking to them, one of them said something that like in the moment I low key got really sad about it because it was something I had thought of like that low key sucks when you hear this from anybody, bro. And because at the time my mindset wasn't in the right place. I was pretty young and I didn't understand certain things. And so I just kind of heard him say it and it low key made me pretty sad, man. And what he said was the fact that I wait, sorry, wait, I think I might make a change here. Turn this into more. I think that might be the better idea. Sorry, sorry, Chad. But I think at the time I didn't really think too much about it. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do the interior walls white wood, but I think I'm gonna do it like this. Do this structure like this. These be wood. Sorry, I'm getting distracted, but what he ended up saying to me was the fact that I had changed. He said, "Damn, Davey, I don't like you really changed, man." And I and I think like what made me kind of more sad about it was he was like, "Man, I don't like that you changed, man. I didn't like that I don't like this new you," was mainly what he said. I really don't know what exactly changed because it didn't really feel like I had changed. I most likely did change because at the end of the day, as life goes on, everybody changes. There's no ignoring change. You will change based on on your circumstances. That's human nature, but um I just really didn't think too much about that. And so I most likely did change because it had been like 2 3 years maybe. So that low key crushed me, and that made me kind of sad because like, bro, you hear that from somebody you low key think is like a good friend of yours, and you think he's funny and you like that, but in like after not talking to him, it kind of sucked, and it made me really sad, and I was just like, oh man, yeah, I guess, yeah, yeah, I just kind of laughed it off. I was like, yeah, man, yeah, I did change, yeah, but I I just kind of kept quiet and just like after that one game, after the game that we were playing while talking, um I just got off because the thing is I didn't want to keep talking because it kind of hurt. It was like annoying hearing that from somebody who annoying and sad more say is the better words to say. Like it kind of sucked. It was like, man, I thought this guy was cool. I thought this guy was like a cool guy, somebody I could who would like who seemed pretty interesting, right? Somebody who you think would not say something that mean or ignorant like that. Sorry about how this build is looking. I'm just like trying something. I'm not doing it like them. So no, I'm not keeping this. But sorry, but it basically kind of hurt, and it made me like sad for a long time. Maybe I don't think I realized that at the time, but I think that affected me a lot more even later on. Like even for like a few months, cause like I after that I kind of really didn't think too much about it after like a week of it. Like it took me like a week to really stop thinking about it because like that hurts, that's a good friend. You wouldn't think they'd say something like that to you, bro. And they did, and it hurt, obviously. That's gonna hurt a lot if you get said something like that and you don't see it as a good thing. Now if I got told something like that, I'd actually be happy because I've been able to be happier. I've been able to change, and so uh I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing. But at the time, I was like, I got sad because to me that felt like a diss. That felt like something terrible, like something bad, and I think it affected me for a few months after that, even after I had kind of forgotten about it because stuff like that you don't realize it, but I think it affects you for a while, and I think that kind of reinforced this thought I had, which was that change isn't a good thing. I think, and it wasn't exactly me who built that mindset that change isn't a good thing. I think society places that type of idea on you and makes you like think that change is not a good thing, and I think that's exactly what made that also hurt more was because I was constantly fed this this idea that change is not good. You don't want to change. You want to stay the same, which is insane because changing is growth. You need to change to grow. And well, you need to grow. Yeah, you need to change to grow. Yeah, that makes more sense. You need to change to grow. And so it kind of hurt a lot more than it would have if I had just thought if I didn't really have that type of mindset at the time. But but yeah, bro, that really hurt, man. I don't know why I just randomly I think about that every time I talk about change though. Like every time I think about like oh change, like becoming somebody new or growth and stuff like that, I think about it. I think it might be because I naturally think of it kind of as a traumatic event because because it was kind of like really sad to me in the moment. N- Like I think if that happened now, I'd maybe think about it every once in a while and still, but I think I'd look at it as like a happy memory more say because now it's like and I can still look back at that as a happy memory because that meant I was changing, I was growing as a person. But I think the thing is that I'll still hold those bad memories on because he said, "Dang, I don't like this new version of you." And so I don't think that'll ever really make me like forget about that and look at it entirely with happy thoughts. But yeah, that sorry about the little rant about that. I just had to point that out. I just thought that was really interesting. And I just had to share that. Not trying to like talk about some traumatic event of mine, but just had to talk about that since I don't even know what did get that conversation just started, but I don't know. I just had to talk about that because that's like an interesting topic to me. While we're chilling, let's get into a little bit of let's talk about some philosophy. You know what I'm saying? Actually, let's talk about more about Christ. Okay, so let me think about some topic. I guess I'll just have a little bit of a talk about my journey with Christ. I'm gonna be a little bit open here, but I grew up I grew up in a Christian household, right? And I think something that comes out of that, and I noticed that I don't hear a lot of people talk about this too often, but well, no, I think people talk about it, but I don't think it's like it needs to be more talked about, and I think when I think about it is it kind of makes me sad is that like growing up in a Christian household, you get used to the church. And you know, actually, I heard a word about at this retreat I had with my youth group is that you can't get used to the things of the church because it's meant to be sacred. It's meant to be important. But I think if you grow up in a Christian household, you get used to this Christ, and in a sense, you're so like you're basically taught about it, but you're not necessarily made to like follow it. You're just kind of well, at least the average household. I don't know about some households. Maybe some households they possibly have like force it. But I think with that is that usually that leads to people wanting not wanting to follow Christ. I think that's the sad part, but I think it's common, like really common. That's happened where like parents try to force that onto their kids and it just never really works out, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just hard to try to have that work out. Because a lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want to follow that. Wait, let me get a stone cutter real quick. Use an iron for that. No. Sorry, but um let's do stone bricks. Do like two, not do two, sorry. Getting distracted, but growing up in that type of household, it kind of makes you desensitized. It feels like you get desensitized to Christ, and I think that's what happened to me because up until the end of last year, I really didn't think about Christ like that. I just like I kind of believed in it. I was like, yeah, this may possibly be true, and I had tried to take it serious, but I wasn't like actually letting him in. And I'm gonna be truthful. I knew a lot about Christ and I knew a lot about the way to do it, but I wasn't deciding to take that full step. I was like, and I don't want to do this. This was also before I was like, man, change is growth. Growth is good. I was like, man, I don't want to change. I'm scared to do that. That's scary. And I think that was what was really stopping me, but at the end of the day, it was stupid of me to act like that because what the sorry. But I don't think it was necessarily too much my fault. I still think it was a little bit of the system placed in me, but I think it was also somewhat my fault because it wasn't my because I wasn't choosing to step out of my comfort zone and change and stuff like that. And that's what was stupid because I needed to change. I couldn't have just stayed the exact same for a long time. That's why I think maybe now, me right now, will most likely grow. Change my likes might change. I hope my likes don't necessarily change too much because I think a lot of the things I like now, I've liked for the last year so long. Like one of my favorite things, One Piece. That's been my favorite for the last 5 years. I think I've been a fan for forever, man, and been like one of my favorite things. Like only recently did like also try to like really get into that and like really really make it my favorite. Like really show that I'm a fan. But before I just kind of like, oh yeah, that's my favorite and I don't really care. But I think now I'm kind of I think as I've grown, I think I've realized I've stepped into this more mindset of being radical because I think that matters. I think everybody should try to be more radical about certain things. I think to me one of the most important things I want to be radical about is Christ. I think there's other things I like and I enjoy and I think it's fun and I enjoy and I want to be more radical about it. Specifically like One Piece. Like I love that and I know this sounds stupid, but I kind of want to get a One Piece tattoo and that sounds stupid and I think yeah maybe I'll regret it when I'm older, which I doubt it, but I really only care about now because right now if I keep focusing on the future I think it'll destroy my now, and if I focus too much on now I think I'll end up destroying my my future. And so what I try to do is I try to find that balance. I put a balance, and I think with Christ I think he's kind of shown me that like because if I can focus on the now and I can let the Lord really choose what will be my future by like basically just relying on him to help me to choose what will most likely be my future. And I think that's a major part of being a follower of Christ is like trusting in him in the future. I try to focus on my now. But let's get back into like my journey and like as a kid I kind of grew up as like Christian, but I didn't really think too much about it. Like it was just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess I'm Christian. Nothing too special about that. I'm just Christian, right? And I believe in Christ and stuff like that. But I didn't really go too far into it. I didn't really put too much mind to the thought. I didn't really care too much up until recently, and I think a part of that was because of what I said. Like I was really raised into it, and I got comfortable, and I didn't really think too much of like God being sacred and stuff like that. And like it's a long story, but I think I think what really made me kind of want to change is that I realized I wasn't happy, because I think the only way now truly to happiness is is the fact is like following Christ is I think because recently I'm gonna be honest I accidentally took a step away from Christ. I made a stupid lapse in my judgment and I stopped reading my Bible for like a month. No, I think it was 2 months to be exact. And I spent a long time without really like doing a good prayer. 'Cause in my idea, how I think of to me prayer is a conversation with God, and I do that pretty often. Like I know I sound kind of crazy, but I typically have conversations with God, like just like I'm just chilling and I'm thinking about something. I don't have a conversation with him. It's typically like about philosophy and stuff like that, and like how I feel about something. There's something going on in my current life, but I think without having those two things, I think it completely destroyed my it made me completely forget about Christ, and I kind of did start, I'm not gonna lie, falling into this like, oh, I don't like Christ. I don't like Christ. Sorry. I don't I don't really care. Like it kind of made me stop really to like, keep focusing on Christ, and I really took a big step back because before I was like really focused on Christ. I was like almost only thing that passed through my head was Christ and stuff like that, and I ended up just completely taking him out of my mind, which I think was really stupid because at the end of the day, kind of made me really sad because I didn't end up with wait, sorry. Ooh, ooh. Okay, what the hell? Where'd the other guy go? Let me get these iron. But I think it made me kind of sad in a sense, and I was kind of ignoring it. I was like thinking I tried to ignore the sad part, sadness, because like at the end of the day, you don't want to feel sad like when you've been happy for a while, because that's how I was. I was really getting closer to God. I was really locked in on my own life. So I was just genuinely happy, and I think what happened was I was I was super happy, and then I accidentally took the step back because in a sense I got burned out. I think I did too much in too little time. I put in all my cards and left no energy, and I think in a sense you can do that with Christ, but I think Christ doesn't necessarily want us to end up getting burned out. I think he wants us to put in everything but not use everything we've got. I think he wants us to. No, let me rephrase that. Well, let me not rephrase that. Let me say this. I think, in a sense, he wants us to do our best in life. He just wants us to have him be the best, be the part of that, be the main foundation for that best, be like the thing that holds that best together. In a sense, I wasn't doing that. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. What was I like? What was I really talking about? Damn, I got like problems, bro. How the hell did I just forget everything I was talking about? But like I was saying, I'll just go back to like it, and it kind of made me fully step out of the idea. Okay, sorry, I just saw something, but I think it was stupid of me, and I think what really snapped me back into that reality that I need to lock back in was a tree I had with all my friends with my youth group, and I think that in a sense helped me get back to Christ and kind of step back into it. And I think now I'm even more radical than I was before because before I was so like so iffy on it, but I think I was doing a lot better, and I think I was growing and I was slowly getting there, but I wasn't fully in the door. And I think now in a sense I'm open. I've opened up the door. I'm just slowly walking in because I'm still trying to learn how to do this properly. But I think I'll soon be able to get fully in that door if that makes any sense. But something I also before when I don't even think I wouldn't even say this was like when I started turning to Christ, when I started actually genuinely like following Christ, reading my Bible, and actually doing the bare minimum and trying to be closer to God. I think before that, I felt like maybe I think one of the reasons why sometimes I'd be like, man, why can't I feel like this connection? Because before I used to kind of have this thought process where I had this idea that I'm too logical because I still have this doubt nowadays, but I it's not necessarily more of a doubt. It's like well, yeah, it's a doubt. Yeah, it's the definition of a doubt, but I think it still passes through my mind today, but I don't think something where I'm like I think that's just my human nature, but before I was like I would constantly have this thought of like, man, there's no way God's real. Like I would just constantly think about it and be like, that's just not possible. And I would refuse to kind of in a sense believe it, but I'd be like, but it's got to be real. There's no way like it's got to be real and stuff like that. And so it kind of made me start to fall into this like mindset where like you can't really be a devoted follower of Christ if you haven't had a crazy experience, because when this was happening, when I had this type of thought process, I would I would start thinking about my friends who were drug addicts, who were kind of gangster in a sense. Like one of them, like they weren't gangsters in a sense, but like they would do things they weren't meant to, and they were like doing bad stuff, and they were doing adultery and a lot of things, right? And then they kind of, and their stories, their testimonies made me like feel in a sense jealous. I was like, man, why can't I have this? If I had this, maybe I'd be able to fully believe in Christ like they do. And maybe I'd be able to like actually be a follower of Christ. And I think, I don't know if that was just me, but I think maybe that's the average, that's how a lot of people who were born Christian end up feeling about Christ. I don't know. I'm not talking for all of them because obviously this is just my own experience, but I think that's how it was. So I think that matters a lot to me. Um, there's no way I just lost all my whole train of thought again. What is up with me? I'm actually stupid, but kind of what I was saying is like I think I was getting jealous because I thought if I had that type of experience, maybe that'd make me the same as those people, and maybe I'd be able to follow Christ as hard as they did. And I think that was just stupid type. That's a stupid ideology because at the end of the day, you've just got to follow Christ. Those people simply have had will most likely, well, maybe they won't. No, I'd say they wouldn't have an easier time following Christ because they've had those temptations, and so they constantly want to go back to him. And so I think maybe it's harder for them, but I think because it's harder for them, I think in a sense they're able to get closer because they've been so deep into the sin. They've been so lost that they're able to fully get further into found. But that's not like necessarily true at the same time because I think anybody can get super close to Christ. Anybody can. That's the truth. I think it's like the disciples, a lot of the disciples were kind of no, I would say all the disciples were they were kind of baddish people. Like none of them were necessarily too bad. I think the worst one was like that I can think of right away is like Matthew, who was seen as evil because he was a tax collector, but I think uh among the other ones there weren't necessarily all seen as terrible people. I think just mainly Matthew. But don't take my word for it because I'm pretty new to the because I read the whole New Testament, but I've got to give it a reread because I don't remember majority of what I read, and I kind of read it at the start of the journey, and I wasn't really prepared to like digest it, and I wasn't taking notes, and I wasn't making any sense of it. So I think if I give it a reread, I think I'd be able to maybe more digest it and be able to understand more. I think that was my experience mainly with that. Bro, this house is taking forever. Sorry about this. Sorry about that, guys. It's just like this is hard, bro. Like building this house because I gotta keep waiting for like furnaces and stuff like that. Once I'm done with this house, I think in the video. But let's have a little bit more philosophy. Actually, I'll talk a little bit, bro, about Let's not. I think I'll talk some more philosophy in a second here, but today, bro, today was the last day of my first and second block, and I think my first block I was sadder, but I think my second block it was just like it's like because I made two really good friends in there who I think one of them will most likely continue to see for a long time, most likely. Maybe, I don't know, because I do kind of usually go to the gym with him. Well, I used to, but then he kind of just stopped going to the gym, and he said he will be going back soon because of the free Planet Fitness like student thing. And but I think aside from him and the other guy was cool too, but he didn't. He's also like me. He doesn't really like talking to people outside of school too much in a sense because he talks to the other friend a lot outside of school and plays a lot with him, but like he doesn't really converse too much with me. But I think that's also because I just don't converse with a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of in a sense a shut in, but not too much. Like only with like school friends, because I just I just don't want to have too many friends because I think a lot of the people I meet in school it kind of leads me. I worry that it'll lead me to do something I wouldn't want to do. Why am I smelting these if I already did all of this? Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this. Let me do that iron. Sorry guys. Wait, let me check something. Ole ole. Wait, sorry, I'm just gonna check if this is a cracked version. If this is a cracked version, then that's good. Um, yes, okay, that's good. I want mainly this cracked one. Is there hmm oh I need smooth stone for that. Gosh dang it, bro. Let me make some fences real quick. You go fence. What am I doing? I know how to build a fence, bro. Oh, wait, let me get that real quick. Do this. Let me do this. Sorry, chat, but I'm just really focused on this. But today in class, like it was low key fun because it was ending, and my second block we did have a final exam, but it wasn't a serious final exam because this teacher is super chill and he doesn't really care too much. Um, he didn't give us too much to do. He just kind of gave us this joke final exam because we had already done a final exam. No, I want to do this a little bit longer. Okay. I think I'm gonna do this equal on both sides. Sorry, chat. Got a little bit distracted there, but we didn't really do a test, and then we just kind of watched a bunch of like videos in class. I don't. The teacher is low key super chill, so he just didn't really care. But bro, they just started putting on random stuff, and it kind of got me thinking because one one of one of the friends, the friend who I usually go to the gym with, he put on the mukbangs, and it kind of really made me like think, man. Well, it didn't really make me think too much in the moment, but looking back on it, saying looking back on it when it was literally this morning, but like it's kind of crazy to me because our generation, bro, the old generation's entertainment to them were actual like learning and like like don't get me wrong, the old generation were in a sense bad people because like the same old generation that I'm talking about were the same old generation that used to not like to share the same water with a black person and stuff like that, which is insane to me. Um, but it was like back then they would just complain about it. I still don't understand that, bro. That's like absurd to me. But at the end of the day, it was like that, and then oh wait, yeah, yeah. Let me sorry, got a little bit getting a little bit distracted here. Ole, ole, ole. Sorry, guys. You just get to the World Cup time. Give a little bit of. Did I make? Did I make? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do. Alright, chat. Gotta get this. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted here. But what happened with the class was that they put on mukbangs, man, and it kind of made me think about like how like our generation has built ourselves on like content, and like yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm making content right now, but like still that's a little bit insane to really look at because it shows that like our generation is kind of right, I think, because we used to like play sports, do things like that. Obviously, I think I still do those. I go to the gym and stuff like that. I don't play basketball every once in a while, and I think you should step out of just gaming like that. Like being like an actual shut in is like not a good thing, but I think but don't get me wrong, games are fun, and I think it's a good thing that we added those to society because it allows us to do more things than just those things. But I think it's kind of weird that we've evolved into like this sense of into these short attention spans where the average person most likely can't play like uh can't watch a full video without like being a little bit disinterested and stuff like that, or like a lot of movies nowadays are kind of forced to follow like a short attention span, like they can't follow a pattern that requires a long attention span because we've built so much of our society on short form content, especially after this TikTok wave. And I think it kind of sucks, but I guess it's just nature, man. I guess things like that will happen. God, I've been recording for too long. Alright, guys, I think I'm gonna end the video here. Kind of finished the house. I don't know what else to do, but I think I'm gonna end the video here. Just really, I think I'll work more on this tomorrow, and I'll keep working on it over time, day by day, and I'll better the build because right now this is all I'm doing right now. So I just need a base for right now, but later on I'll work on something better. All right, but this is it. This is it for this episode. This one might be a little bit of a long one. Sorry about that. I had to do a little yap session, maybe, but I'll see you guys. All right, see you in the next video.